Welcome everybody to the HolloTalk podcast. This is Jetpack Nick, and I'm here with a bunch of special guests today. So first off, we have my guy Darian. Say what's up to the people. We have Naja. Say what's up to the people. Hi. We have Zora. Say what's up to the people.
Hi, people.
And we have my guy Damon. Say what's up to the people.
Long time coming. What's going on? What's going on?
Okay, first and foremost, how is everybody doing?
Pretty good. Who want to go first?
I'm pretty good. The rain is like making me tired, but like I'm cool for the most part.
Okay. Anybody else? No, nobody else feeling no kind of way?
Not you said something.
Go ahead. Nobody's feeling no kind of way.
No, I think it was lagging a little bit.
Wait, can no one hear me?
Okay.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bet. You can hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good. A little tired. It's raining like crazy, and yeah, I'm a little tired. That's really it.
You gotta wake up. You're on the HolloTalk podcast, man. Okay. All right. Then anybody gonna ask me how I'm doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm all right. No, so let's get into it. So, I have all of you here today because for the people who don't know, you all are amazing creatives and filmmakers, right? So if you would like, you can explain what your films are that's going to be showcased in the BPA Film Fest, give a little bit of background about it and what your experience was with it. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Mine is probably the simplest to explain. So, mine's story is about a father and a son who are meeting up for the first time after 5 years, and they have a estranged relationship. And the son goes to meet him for what may be the last time due to his father having a ailment. And it's basically them coming to blows, trying to find a certain understanding with each other.
Gotcha. Whoever wants to go next.
I'm about to say I'll lighten the mood a little bit. So Love is Anonymous is a romantic comedy that got made however long ago, but was finally shot last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a story about like a girl who basically gets stood up for a date, but she finds love with a familiar face here.
Damn, who we talking about?
I know about Meg, yeah.
I'm glad I was there when she walked in.
Yeah, I'm glad too. But yeah, and they end up falling in love, and it's a little comedy, it's a little love, and there's like a nice little plot twist at the end. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll go next. I have two films. My first film
wow.
The first one is The Sidewalk Rule, which Darian helped me out with a lot. Shout out to them.
That's not them.
And it's about two friends, like they basically are going to a concert, and their discussion kind of like blurs the lines between like traditional and modern chivalry, about like which like hence like the title of The Sidewalk Rule.
Mm-hmm.
And the second film is about the main character. It's called The Picnic. Is getting their two best friends to meet each other for the first time, and then like chaos ensues, like, trying to show like who's the best friend or whatever. And yeah, that's what my two films are about. I'm excited.
Okay, talk to me, Darren.
So I also have two films as well.
Wow.
So we produced both of those films in the Film Features program back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It was super great, and both experiences shooting were both fun. Definitely grew a lot in between those like two films, kind of like just like growing as a director. And both of the films are psychological thrillers that just kind of like they both explore like different things, but at least to me as like the filmmaker, they kind of like both just explore the simple things of like kind of like what's good and what's bad, and kind of like your own morality. So yeah, I'm super excited for people to see those two projects, Magenta, which was written by Sam Austin, and You'll Always Have Hope, which was written by me, Darian. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, no, you all good. We got you. We got you. Okay, so I want to start off with Zora. So you have two films in the film festival, right? I want to know what's the inspiration, or what was the inspiration behind you creating those two specific films?
I would say the inspiration and like really like the main thing, like why I want to work in media is definitely just like showing representation for young Black girls and just telling stories like that I can relate to and people like that my peers can relate to as well because there's not told enough, especially like from the people who are actually experiencing these things. So that's definitely like the main inspiration, and also just like my parents and just like the way that I grew up and just are big inspirations for my art.
Okay. See, because when I was watching the films and I was doing my research, the sidewalk rule was a very interesting one to me because of just how it ended. And I was like, well, I'm waiting for more. Like, what happens next? So, are we going to get something to show what happens next, or is just a one-off thing?
I mean, I don't have an answer for that right now. Like maybe, maybe not, possibly.
Okay. She keeping us waiting. She's smart.
Oh,
Okay.
wait,
Go
wait.
ahead. Go ahead, Darren.
I also just want to shout out Zora, because I've been working with Zora, I want to say like for majority of this year. And I don't know, just both experiences was like on both films. I helped in like in different aspects, but like kind of like seeing her as a director and like seeing her like grow with like storytelling has been like super, 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 super cool. So Zora, really great job on your films.
Thank you.
You know, see that's what happens on the HolloTalk podcast. We show love, you know. We show love unapologetically. Shouts out to Darian for showing Zora the love. Okay, so Darian, we might as well just go to you now. What was your inspiration behind your two films that's in the film festival?
So for You'll Always Have Hope, that one, the psychological thriller, the first one that I have wrote, is also kind of like my first kind of like, um, I guess taste of like going into like a more horror genre. And the inspiration for it honestly is I just really wanted to make a project that was fun and kind of like at least broke the rules of like the stories that I usually tell, because I feel like usually my stories are usually really grounded in like reality. But with this one, I kind of like was able to explore surrealist storytelling, but also kind of like the psychological and thriller and like the horror aspect kind of like also included in. So those are like that was super fun to do. And then for Magenta, the inspiration for that, um I really just wanted to push myself as a director, because usually I've only been directing like pieces that I like completely right. So with Magenta, it was like a new challenge for me to go outside of my comfort zone and direct something that somebody else wrote. And it was kind of like, I had the outline, but it was like now I had to like approach it differently than I would usually for I no I had to approach it differently than I would for like my own personal projects. Like I had
Right.
to like approach it with more intention of like kind of like really, really having to like learn these characters because I didn't create them. Which was it turned out pretty great, and it turned out to be like a really great learning experience because I learned how to like direct actors a little better to get to kind of like go for more emotion rather than like just focusing on the story.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna come back to that in a little bit. I'm gonna let everybody else tell me about their film. So, Naja, I mean, I was in the film, so, but I'm gonna let you say it. I'm gonna let you tell the people because I'm excited about this.
They literally, oh my god, like we'll get to that. But yeah, so my inspiration for Lovers Anonymous, also Zora, was like the representation of like Black women and love stories and like kind of breaking down like the stereotypical representation of Black women. Like
Shouts out Black women, by the way. Shouts out
okay,
Black women.
period. I love, locks. I love 4C hair, and I feel like it's
Hmm.
not something that you really get to see often. So that was like my inspiration behind my main character. But overall for the story, like around the time that I had wrote it, which I believe was in like 2020 or whatever, this is me like first walking into adulthood. So like I'm trying to figure
Hmm.
out what I want my living situation to look like, but I'm also like, okay, well, what does my love life look like? And like if I had to like paint like a picture perfect story of how I wanted love to go at that point in time, that was like kind of just how I saw it. And I wanted it to be something that wasn't like struggle love based or like make
Right.
it seem like, you know, she has to go through all this hardship in order to, you know, receive the kind of love that she deserves. So like that was like my biggest inspiration behind it.
Right. Yeah, see, for the struggle love movies, we got Baby Boy for that. So we ain't need another one. No, but I definitely can speak from firsthand experience, being that I was in the movie. It was definitely like a fulfilling set to be on, especially that being like my first experience being on film, coming from a theater background. So, you know, kudos to you for writing a fulfilling story, an amazing story, in-depth story of an idea that you wanted to bring to life. So I'm happy that you did it, and I'm even more happy that you asked me to be a part of it. So shouts out to you for that. My guy, my brother. Talk to me, Damon. What's going on?
All right, let's get it. All right. So, right. This kind of happened in threes. The inspiration for my movie happened in threes. I don't remember which one it was, but I believe I watched All American during the pandemic.
Okay.
And one of the main things I loved about All American was Spencer had with his dad Corey, and I directly related to it, and I felt like it really spoke to how I feel about my dad. And I think that was kind of the seed planted that a relationship like mine can work on film, or it can be shown essentially. And second was again during the pandemic when Euphoria was going through their little drop off period. They released the one episode about Rue and Ali in a diner.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the simplicity of it. And I liked how it was so focused on just their dynamic. And again, I just loved the simplicity of it. I thought it got across everything, and they showed again the idea to do something that relates to me and what a lot of people may go through can work, even in its simplest form. It can work if it's just strictly focused. It can work. And then I finally reconnected with my dad, which is the third point, when I would say 50% of the story is an inspiration off of what happened with me and my father,
Right.
but I could not verbalize a lot of how I felt. So I instead decided to write. And she probably doesn't know this, but Naja also is the reason I decided to write it, because I was in the middle of Media Futures and I was writing on my laptop. And Naja saw me kind of blanking out. And she just kind of insisted to just write. Just write. Whatever you're feeling, write it out. And then I just started writing. And then I was like, wait. This is getting interesting. I was cooking. I was cooking a little bit. So
he was in the kitchen.
I was going cooking for it. I was like,
you already know.
We ain't getting to your scene yet, but like I was going off. So that's where the inspiration came from, and I just really enjoyed all the bits that I grabbed from working with Naja, Darian, and Sam, respectively, on their movie sets. I think it helped me a lot developing what I wanted and how I wanted things to look, because I saw how they went, and I was a part of all three in very different ways. So it was very helpful to develop my project out the same way. I ran by it with Darian. He was amazing help. Sam, amazing help. Ran by it with Naja, amazing. Everyone communicated with me very well. It was very well. And I think it came out great.
Got you. So this is a question for all of you. So did you all, well, other than you, because you just answered it, but did you all work on other films other than your own specific ones?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I just love to brag about my friends. So I worked on We'll Always Have Hope with Darian, and I also worked on Magenta with Sam, both as the set designer, which was really awesome. And it was really nice, specifically in Always Have Hope, because I love scary movies. Love.
Right.
So it was really nice to like kind of pull from like all of my like scary movie database to kind of just like throw like little like homages to like the things that I've watched, and also like including like Darian's, because Darian's like knowledge of movies is like expansive as I don't know what. So it was just like really like sitting down and like collaborating with him and like kind of bringing those ideas to life, just amazing. And then like seeing Sam specifically, like it wasn't even really like my involvement of being a set designer on his set, but mainly just watching Sam like do his work. Like if I'm not mistaken, he directed and shot it. So it was just
Yeah.
like it was a really good like motivator, honestly, to see. So yeah.
Okay. Did Zora and Darian, did you guys work on anybody else's films as well? No?
I worked on, I think, majority of the films. I think the only films I didn't work on in any capacity was Picnic, and it was the Bloom Where You're Planted, and Let's Take a Trip. Those were the three films I didn't work on. But everything else I kind of like was I don't know, I was kind of just like a little like an extra piece, like, you know, just like fit me in wherever I could like help out. Mainly doing like some like producing like logistic work mainly, but like yeah, I was just like kind of like helping out in those aspects of just like, you know, seeing everybody else do like their amazing work. And especially it was like Damon and Zora, I kind of like was helping to produce their films, and it was super
Right.
super cool to see them both kind of like start from like their like concepts. Like I remember I was like running around trying to get their like pitches together. I was like texting them. I was like, Zora, Damon, like, where y'all pitches? Trying to get them in on time or whatever like that. And we did it. We got it on time. But I just remember that in like the beginning of the year, and now it's like so surreal. That we just like rewrapped the projects. We shot them. Both shoot dates were super easy, and both directors are super like, y'all both know what y'all like want out of your films, out of your stories. So it was like super just so easy to work with y'all, because y'all just had it, y'all just directed and did the thing. So it was super super cool.
And I feel like
We love the props.
I feel like another film that we didn't talk a bit about, mainly because like the person's not here, but it's Cameron. Cameron
Mhm.
is the Delphi students that we worked. Me and Darren worked really closely with, and I can't blab enough about those gosh darn Delphi students. Like they're literally so young but so talented, and like to see how they took the crash course and like really took it head on, and like even though some of them had no idea what they were doing, they made it work. And like
Right.
Cameron like have this film brought to life. It was like one of the most like emotionally like tugging films that I feel like came out of that program. So it was really awesome.
Okay. No, and the reason I asked that question is because I was curious to know, like, working in different aspects on other people's films separate from your own, like, how did it help you go through the process of making your film, or look at certain aspects of your own film differently than you did before you worked on someone else's? Anybody can answer this question. He's excited. He's very excited.
Okay, wait. Ask me the question again.
Okay, so how did you working on other people's films help you make your own?
All right, so boom, right? I remember specifically talking to Naja when she was making her film. And one of the main things it taught me was I am very creative when I'm given something to create.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when we were talking about all pitching our projects, Darian, me, Sam, and Naja, when we first were actually pitching stuff, I said to Naja, like, you know, this story is so good. And I remember she initially wanted it to be animated. And I said, oh, yeah, this is like Princess and the Frog and Beauty and the Beast combined. Like, this is a great concept. It's wonderful. And having been all for it was a whole different entirely. I said I was going to help regardless. I was not at all looking to act. Not at all. But acting and then jumping to the next project, which I believe was Darian's. And I was assisting Naja in creating a lot of the stuff that were used in the film, specifically some, was it wrapping paper? And it was made off of The Shining. It was Shining paper. And it was lovely. I loved doing that. And then I worked with Sam and I helped him with his film in any way I could. I was crafting. And up until recently, I was working on another film. And I just feel like the development of me seeing what goes on behind the films and what goes on even in the writing room, even in the production, the pitching stages, all that is incredibly helpful because it lets you know that everyone's going to do the same thing.
Of course.
Eventually, everyone is going to have to do a pitch. Everyone's going to have to come up with their idea, go through draft after draft after draft. It's not stressful anymore to realize that we're all doing the same thing, just at different speeds. No matter how it goes, we are all going to run in that same path. So I think overall, it's helped me, specifically being a director, as Darian said. Being a director is not hard, but I know for a fact I prefer to be directed. So I think that's what the problem was. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want to say what I want to say, but I know what I need to get. So I say it. But I think if someone told me how to act, I would be like, oh yeah, completely understand. Yeah. I think that's just, maybe I'm more obedient. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that too at certain times. Like I feel like personally I can be like really like too nice at certain times. So like I don't want to I didn't want to sound like rude or like not rude, is like I don't like confrontation. So I'm not trying to like I want it this way now, like or like, like so it was like that's what I wanted to do, but like I had to like stop myself from doing that, like just like be patient, like take my time with everything. But like yeah, I like had the same struggle. But like working on other things just helped me like be more observant and like take the backseat in certain situations and like just see how other people work and everything to help me apply that to like my work. So that was really cool.
Absolutely. Darian?
Working on other sets, I feel like they definitely taught me to kind of like, it's kind of like the opposite of what you're saying about like kind of like not being confrontational. It kind of like like actually like more confrontational, because like I don't know, it's like somebody else is going to be confrontational first, so you might as well get to it before somebody else does. So that's how I look at it. I just if I don't like something, I'll just kind of like I'm not gonna like yell like throw it across the room, but I'll be like, hey, like that's not what I asked for. And from when I worked on my film, like You Always Have Hope, I would definitely say I was a lot more like kind of like passive and like and I want to say I took like more of a backseat approach to it. Like I wasn't as like on it as I like should have been as a director. So then the next month, which was super cool because I was directing Magenta the following month, I was like, okay, what didn't I like? What didn't I like about You Always Have Hope? I remembered that I was passive. So I was like, okay, so this time I'm just gonna be a little bit more like, just stern and like kind of like, this is what I want. And this is, I want to get it. And if we can't get it, why can't we get it? And how can we find a way around that? So those, working on sets and especially like being a director, like more, or even being like the first assistant director, or being in any part of like the crew in general, you just kind of like have to learn to just like, you might have to confront people sometimes. It's a bad thing. It's just like you just have to be able to do that to get what you want creatively.
No, I got you 100%. So and the reason like I even brought that up is because of the fact that I've been on these sets with some of you, and I've played different roles. So like I was a actor in Naj's film. Me and Damon and Darren, we worked on Tyler's film, Let's Take a Trip. So I've experienced different aspects of how films are made. And hearing that, all of you are directors, I haven't had the experience of directing yet. It's amazing to hear like just your experience of how working in all of these aspects translated into how you go about directing your films, because I'm in the process of writing, my own films, TV shows, and things like that. For the people who listen to HolloTalk podcast, they know this. But I'm in the process of writing some of my own stuff as well. And we're going to go into directing it and getting it made really, really soon. So I'm taking all of the lessons that you're all sharing now and the things that we talk about off the record, and being able to apply it to whenever I do follow through with making those projects. So I appreciate all of the knowledge that you've given me throughout that portion of the conversation, for sure.
I wish I had Damon's outlook on like directing being just so easy, because
they definitely didn't agree with you, Damon, at all. They all shared disgust.
because like for me personally, like in my experience on my set, like being a director and not having to wear so many hats was completely foreign to me. Like I'm so used to having to call the shots, look at the details, right, do everything else. So it was really nice having like that control over my set. But what I had noticed working on other people's sets was just a lot how like more stern people were about like what they wanted. I feel like I kind of had like the upper hand of having a cast that had really great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't like a whole lot of directing that needed to be done. But yeah, like working as like the set designer and also like a little bit of a PA for like both sets, it was nice to kind of just like take a back seat, be like a fly on the wall. Of course, I poked my little nosy self around and looked at everybody else's jobs, like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? But like, I definitely like just love like watching people have a strong hand over their vision. Like, I really appreciate it. I want
Yeah,
to
for sure.
more next time around.
For sure.
I do want to add one thing. I want to add one quick
Wait,
thing.
David, I was at about
Wait, you're jumping.
I'm sorry.
Jumping. Hold on.
David,
Go
I
ahead.
was at about thing first. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Darren. You got it.
So back of what I just said. Dang. Dang.
How you gonna jump him and then forget what you were saying?
David, I don't want to blame you, but you definitely made me lose my thought. Like definitely made me lose my thought. Hold on. I just gotta make that up really quickly and make it so. So to piggyback off of what Nah just said about directing not being easy. Dang. Okay, I quit. Move on.
All right, I'm gonna just go.
Go ahead, Darren. If you remember, we'll come back to you.
All right, so I was thinking about this. I didn't mean to say that directing was easy, like in general. I'm saying the day of, I was not stressed. I was big chilling. I was not worried. But I will say this, as people who've known me post the release of my film, post it being finished, I do have my issues with it. And most of it is the similar issues that Darian had, which was just passiveness. I feel like the film had aspects that were great. I just feel like there was some things I should have been very firm about, and I just kind of let stuff slide simply because even if it's not getting done my way, it's getting done.
Right.
I think that's what I fell in the trap of, because even if I wanted it differently, the job was done. Like there's nothing I could have done. I couldn't just say, you know what, call an audible, get out the chair, I'll act for you. I can't do that. I can't. So that's no. I'm saying like I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I didn't say I want to. I just said I couldn't do it. But yeah, wonderful time. But I do think tentativeness and passiveness were things that I definitely struggle with, and I much rather prefer to have multiple things to do. Similar to Naja, I think having one singular job of being in control of everyone else, that's like, that's not me. Like, I want y'all to just do what y'all got to do. You think you're doing good? You're doing great. Like, go for a chance. I'm not even gonna be the one to tell you you're wrong. I'm gonna just be like, hey, you think you could like tweak it a little bit? And if you tweak it and you don't go all the way, it's like, all right, bro, you tweaked it. You tweaked it. I can't tell you how much to go. But yeah, I'm done. I'm finished. Darian, if you remember it, go for it.
I do remember it now.
Right.
David, thank you for saying that. That jogged my memory. I actually, with kind of like the thing that Naja said about like, it was so weird to like not have to like wear all the hats. I felt that when I did, you'll always have hope. And I think that's why I kind of like didn't have as like good of an experience, because I felt like it was like that very, very first time of like kind of like, oh wow, like I don't have to do everything. I have like this big crew, like kind of like just like taking off like a lot of the weight off my shoulder. I didn't like, I feel like I didn't utilize that as much. I was like still kind of like running around trying to do everything. So when it came to Magenta, I was like, I was just like, okay, I'm only the director. Like Sam, he was like sending me drafts of the script and stuff, and I was like, cool. I don't gotta write nothing. Like I didn't have to like, I didn't touch that script at all, which was like super, like to me, I thought that was like so amazing because usually, like when going to a film room and having to like direct something, you usually have to like touch up the script or like kind of like work on the script because you're the writer. But with Sam being the writer, his task was to get me the script to direct and to like learn it with the actors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say, I think I don't know, me personally, I think it's definitely a necessity for directors to just really kind of like be able to only focus on directing because that'll really get you like the product or like the best like kind of like the best thing out of whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Okay, so I had a privilege to see everybody's film be in one. Obviously, I'm gonna keep saying that. I have to say it. So I was able to see everyone's film, and they all were phenomenal to say the least, right? But I want to know: is there anything like looking back on it now that they're all complete? Is there anything that you guys would have done differently as far as the film itself, or anything as far as running the sets, or anything with the film in general? Damon, go first.
Yo, this was teed up perfectly. Oh my God, this is my question. All right, bet. So, right, the main thing I would have done differently, I would have acted in it. I'm standing on it. I'm sorry, I have to be the one to say it. I would have definitely been the one acting in it. I 100% think there was nothing wrong with the script. I don't think there was nothing wrong with the casting of the person that I had playing the main father role. Matter of fact, he looked a lot like how I wanted him to look, acted how I wanted, sounded how I wanted. Man was perfect. I couldn't do nothing different. I just would have played the main role. I wrote it that way. I feel like a lot of the lines were made that way. So I feel like that was one example of me being very passive because I went with it and I went with, you know what? I had too much on my plate. I can't direct and act. So I'm just going to sit in the director's chair. And the reason I said it felt so easy is because it just was easy. I was like, man, I don't have to worry about emoting. I don't have to worry about chemistry. I don't have to worry about none of that. But like, I think looking back, the only thing is and being very passive. I think if I just got to act in it, if you thought the film was great, Citizen Kane, I'm telling you. If I was in it, Citizen Kane, I'm sorry. No, and that's not being cocky, I swear to God. It's just
we
because
need a
the
deluxe
character was
version of the
written
movie
off
now.
of me. I want a deluxe version of the movie. I will 100% go back in the theaters with that movie. I will re-release that film. I will do it. But yes, I think that will be the one thing. I would have just acted in it. And I don't have any regrets not doing it. I understood why I did it. Me and Darian both agreed to it, but that was the big thing. Everyone who knows me and knew the role and knew the writing all kind of agreed that this works better for you than it did and how it turned out. It just would have looked better if it was you in the seat. I'm gonna stop talking now. Someone else go.
Okay, let's go to Naja.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to go?
Oh, Zora.
You can go.
Oh no, whoever.
I was gonna say mine's gonna be pretty short.
All right.
Because like I don't, given the fact that like I said, like the characters had such great chemistry together, and like I don't know, like the story took on a life of its own once we all got to set, and that's something that I really appreciate about the movie that I made. And on top of that, like Mayfair Diner was still up and running. Like we didn't even close out the restaurant or anything. Like there was just like actual people walking back and forth.
We did it live, right?
The only thing that I feel like I would change is like myself. Like I definitely would like try to direct a little better because I'm not like really one to like point fingers at people like, oh, you're doing this wrong, like I like to give like constructive feedback, but I know that sometimes that can come off a little passive or just unclear in general,
right?
And like since I wasn't wearing so many hats and I didn't have the excuse of being scatterbrained, I was automatically scatterbrained by accident. So there were times where I was just like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. But like definitely having like a really strong team, again, I would never change that. Had the best team ever. Like having a really strong team definitely like helped me fill in the gaps of where I wasn't doing the best job. So hopefully like next time around I can do a much tighter job of like directing and like putting my vision forth in like the performance of the actors that I have.
Gotcha. Zora, please. We're all waiting to hear.
Yeah, my answer is pretty similar to Nasha's. Because for Picnic, I feel like that I was like too passive in directing it, and I would have like been more direct. And like I don't like she said like I gave like more constructive feedback when I could have been like more clear in what I wanted and everything to get like everything. And then like the difference I feel like was with Picnic was like a group thing in VLux, and then like the Sidewalk Rule, like I wrote it in VLux, but then like we ended up filming it and everything like outside of that. So I feel like with the Sidewalk Rule, like I had like more control over everything because it was like kind of really just my film.
Right.
And yeah, I just feel like I was able to like have more insight because I filmed it after Picnic too. Like they were filmed like maybe like a few days apart. So
Oh, wow.
like we filmed Picnic first like on April 2nd and then like Sidewalk Rule like on April 5th. So it was like really close between both of them, but just like having one experience first just helped me like do better with the second one, I feel like.
That's very exciting. I didn't know those two films were filmed back to back like that. Congrats to you. You was out there working hard. All right, Darian.
Um, so one thing that I would change, definitely would be like kind of like wardrobe and styling, but it's kind of like this was like my first time working with like kind of like a crew and cast of like this capacity. So definitely was kind of like just like a learning experience, but like I know more like designers now, so it's like I'm not really upset, but it's just like, dang, I wish the wardrobe was like more so towards what I had envisioned, because that the wardrobe and kind of like the aesthetic, I wanted it to kind of like feel more like Afrofuturistic and like kind of like dreamy and kind of like being like more like abstract in that way, but I really
They wasn't swaggy enough, is what you're saying.
it wasn't. It wasn't. And
Gotcha.
then it's like, dang, it's still it took me a while to really like the film, because it was like I was like, dang, this is not what I had in my head. Let me just keep working with it. But it's like I just had to find other ways like around it and find like new ways to like more so like the film. I guess that's kind of like how you do in like with any art piece you create or any film specifically. Because it's the same thing for like this other project I'm working on right now. And it's just you kind of have to just when you go into the editing room, you just kind of have to know that you're not going to walk out with what you envision, or maybe you will, but it's still going to be slightly different. And that's why I'm kind of like just learning to more so love the aspect of editing, so that I kind of don't really have any regrets for the film. It's just kind of like every film that I make is a new learning experience, and I kind of like take that experience and just apply it to whatever I create next.
I was gonna say, like, that note of like walking out of the editing room, 9 times out of 10, it won't be like to a T what you thought it was going to be. Like, Lovers Anonymous was supposed to take place in an Italian bistro. It happened in a diner, like. So like that, like the location kind of impacted like the overall optics of the story, and like it didn't. I didn't hate it. Honestly, I loved it a little bit more after that. But it was like you write the story one way, and like the nature of just production, you have to be okay with it being slightly different than what you thought it was going to be.
That's a fact. Like, even like doing a podcast, you think it's going to go one way, and then it goes a whole another way, and sometimes it's for the better. So, that's why I try to give a lot of free range motion, if you will, to just be like, all right, it's not structured a specific kind of way. Let's just talk and see where it goes, and let's make something beautiful out of the conversation. So it's essentially the same thing. Okay, so I feel like we got to take this moment to big up BPA, right? We have to big up BPA. So I want to know from all of you, and I'll give my own, I guess, speech, if you will, too, about BPA and how BPA has been dope for me. But how has BPA impacted all of you as far as just as a person or just as a filmmaker, actor, whatever?
I was gonna say, as the fellow BPA elder in the room, I feel like I've been with BPA for quite some time. And I say it every single time, and I know that it may sound dramatic to a lot of people who don't really know the ins and outs of BPA, but BPA saved my life. Like literally, if they had to like put a poster of me with BPA, that would be like the caption. Cause like literally there was absolutely nothing that I thought was possible until I came to BPA. Like I always grew up like watching movies and like hoping like, you know, oh, one day I'm gonna be a movie star, I'm gonna make movies, I'm gonna tell stories. But then when I came to BPA, it was like, you wanna make a story? What's up? Like it was just that easy. They was like, you know, here's what you're gonna need, here's a crew to check out this camera. We're gonna teach you how to use the camera first, but here's the camera. Like it was just always so awesome. And then like aside from like the whole dream achieving thing, something that I realized like working at BPA that I didn't really think would be so important to my own existence is the sense of community. Like there's not really much you can get done as an artist, Tyler Perry, without a good sense of community. Not to name drop, but that's just like my biggest thing that I think about when it's like, when people say, oh, I did it all by myself, I did it all by myself. You very well can do it by yourself, but like the fullness and wholeness that you feel from having a sense of community, the constructive criticism that you get, the growth that you can have by having a decent community around you is just like unbeatable, honestly, in my mind. So like, shout out to BPA for that. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Bettina. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to like, big love, big love.
Big love, big love. Okay. Do somebody want to go next, or you want me to call on you like the teacher? Zora, please. I was gonna call on you anyway.
I'm sorry, Mary, I saw that. I just feel like BPA helped me just amplify like my voice and like actually get my stories out like the way that I wanted them to, because I'm a film major in school and I kind of felt like limited to what I can like do and like write about. And I feel like I wasn't limited to what I can do here. And also just like the access to like the network of people and just like meeting like cool people like you guys. I feel like it was like just great like working with BPA. And I've wanted to work with them like for a while because like I'm more into like narrative now. So it just helped me like tap more into that and just like make me a better filmmaker. Darren, you can go now.
So yeah, Big Picture Alliance is super, 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 super great. I want to say like my experience over the past like 2 years, I want to say definitely has helped me kind of just like add structure into my life, because before I was just kind of just like create. But like with like working with Big Picture Alliance and like so many like capacities, it kind of like just showed me that like everything is going to like fall into place. You know, if you just like, you know, just let it happen, just kind of like be patient and like not just that, and like kind of like that emphasis on like community is such a like important thing within Big Picture Alliance, like community and family. And it feels like every time we all come together, it's kind of like some big kind of just like family like reunion. Like we're all just like always so happy to see each other. And I think it's always so cool because it's like, I don't know, like in my head when I think of like kind of like these big spaces with like people of like different ages and different like backgrounds and whatnot, it would kind of like be like kind of like standoffish or like cliquish. But like with BPA, like everybody interacts with like everybody. Like you're gonna meet, you know, you're gonna eventually meet somebody from Delphi if you're like in the film workshop. Like, you know, like I think it's just so cool how just like everything intersects. So yeah, that's my big shout out. Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that. Talk to us, Damon.
Oh boy. I'm usually very good with words, but I'm gonna not try to cry. So
You better not cry.
I know, bro. Chill, bro. Chill. It's a safe space. It's men's health awareness.
No, that's
right?
a fact for sure.
So, all right, but I feel like I'm just gonna be piggybacking on all three of y'all because integrally, all three of what you guys said is what BPA gave me. To say that BPA saved me is kind of an oversimplification. I feel like instead of it saving my life, it gave me a life. Like it gave me so much in just a short amount of time. I was someone who didn't even think about past 18. wasn't concerned. I didn't worry. And it took one day where I was at my school and there was a digital media class. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it. I don't care. And I didn't realize that there were 4 spots to be a part of the BPA program, but they created a 5th spot for me because they saw something in me, and I didn't notice until way later that I thought it was just 5 people altogether. So to hear that they gave me a chance based off enthusiasm alone and how interested I was like, oh, this is a lot. This is a hit. Okay, so after that, I think really to boost on the cliquish nature, it never happened. It never once occurred. This is so funny. I met Naja during the summer program, and I swear to God, I did not understand how we met at that day. Like, she's over taking pictures of the event, and I'm over there just like in a big ass white Nike shirt, hot as hell in some jeans. And I'm over here just dragging my feet trying to figure out what am I doing? Like, how did I get here? There's cameras in front of me, tripod set up. I'm setting all this stuff up. I'm like, I don't even know what the name of this camera is. I don't know what brand this is. And just to like then join Media Futures and then Film Futures respectively, I gained more than friends. I had a family now. And I don't think I would have had anything to keep me going through a lot of the stuff I was going through during those past 3 years. And specifically all last year, it was like this. This is like the thing that kept me going. It kept me grounded. And I owe so much to just BPA in general, the community it fostered, and I have grown into. I feel like I've done not nearly enough to show my gratitude. There's not ever going to be anything I could do to repay what BPA gave me. And what I can give back is in no short order. I need to do everything to show how grateful I am.
See, now you're trying to make me cry, guys.
No.
No, I am actually really, really happy to hear that BPA has impacted you all so strongly. I told you I was gonna give my little speech to it too. So first, got to shout out Naja, because without Naja, I wouldn't have been a part of BPA neither. She just hit me up one day and was like, "Hey, I need an actor. Like, can you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Like, I act a little bit. That's what I do. My accomplishments. I ain't put them on display, but I'm an accomplished actor. Nick Zell Washington. Ask about me. but Naja, she extended her hand to bring me into this wonderful community of Big Picture Alliance. Before I even get into it, I just want to say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the community that I'm a part of now. And that was the main thing for me, I think. Being able to be in a community of people who I learned from, I looked up to, and I was able to build with in a way, not just creatively, but as a person as well. Like, you all taught me a lot, just through our conversations, and as well as through the creative arts that we all are a part of, which is filmmaking, acting, directing, so on and so forth. BPA is really just something that I think provided us a safe haven, if you will. It provided us an opportunity to not only tap into our creativity, but also put us in a spot where we can grow as people because of the community that BPA has gained over the last 30 or so years. Me personally, I'm just excited to be a part of the community and continue to grow within the community, and be a really strong force in allowing BPA to be all it can be, and get it out there so more people can be positively affected by Big Picture Alliance and all that it brings. So shouts out to Big Picture Alliance. So we are going to go into the final part of the podcast, which Nasha knows oh so well. The 3 gems. So anybody can go in any kind of order, but I would love for you all to provide 3 gems for people to take away from this conversation that we had today. Go ahead, there.
All right, guys. So my 3 gems. Chase your dreams. That's a big one. Everybody here is here today because they were chasing their dreams.
Absolutely.
Speak kind to yourself. Some people, we don't be speaking nice to ourselves all the time. Everybody be nice to us. We gotta be nice to us first. So remember that. Say something nice about yourself before you go to bed, when you look in the mirror, when you wake up, and when you're walking in the street. And any other order too. I can't think of any other things you could do is talk nice to yourself. But figure it out, do it. Last thing, maybe Nick could do something cool when I say this, but get your tickets, Big Picture Film Fest, June 22nd, One Night Community Center. And then I'm gonna point, and then Nick is gonna put like a link right here for me, right, Nick?
Something like that,
Cool,
something like that.
Well,
Something
put a
like
link right there for me.
No, I'm gonna just tell them if they don't do it, then they just gonna miss out on a wonderful event. Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see all of our wonderful faces and and our nice suits and dresses and whatnot.
One night only.
Oh yeah, one night only. You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't come out that often. Like we celebrities on the low. Like we really like that. We really like it. We was on the news. We was on the news. They don't know that. We was on the news.
But I feel like we talked about the news. Now I gotta pass it to Zora.
Well, my 3 things. First, I feel like I have to take my own advice with all 3 of these, but especially this one, to stop thinking that everything is cringy and embarrassing. Just put out your work, because like there are people who like work is not as good as yours, and like they're putting theirs out, and like you need to put yours out and share with other people just so they can see how good like your stuff is. Also, I would say to stop being so hard on yourself, which I also am very hard on myself, because like just do it. Like just do like whatever you put your mind to, or whatever, and whatever idea or everything you have, like I would say, just like at least start it and then see like how far it could go and everything. So that's my little inspirational spiel.
We appreciate it. Go ahead, Nash.
I say I'm a sucker for alliteration. So my big 3 gems are community, communication, and confidence. Specifically with community, like literally there's nothing beating that. I cannot emphasize that enough. And then on top of that, like community helps you progress in like your thinking. Like even if you don't necessarily agree with somebody, you can now develop your own sense of how you feel about that one thing. So definitely like keep an open mind and stuff like that. And community helps you do that. Communication. People need to talk more. You need to talk more. You need to open up more, because it helps you like really understand like the world that you're in, and then on top of that, help you understand yourself more. And then the last thing with confidence, there has been so many times where I have walked into a room and had no idea what I was doing, but I get such amazing, oh, she's this, she's that. You wanna know why? Because I'm confident. Okay. Don't matter if you don't know what you're doing or whatever, just walk into a room with confidence, a smile, and just make it happen. So
Appreciate you. Last but not least.
All right. So, all right. 3 gems. So the first one, fight for your dreams. Your dreams will fight for you. Number 2 would be do what makes you happy, and do something that makes you healthy, and do something that makes you wealthy. Those are the 3 most important things. You gotta have those 3 things in mind. And number 3, most importantly, bro, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh my God.
Let's get out of here.
Oh my God.
You already know what it is.
I respect that one. I ain't gonna lie. I respect that one. Oh man. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of HolloTalk Podcast. I want to thank all of my wonderful guests for coming on and talking with me today. It's truly been an honor and a pleasure to be in this community with you all and build these wonderful friendships with you all too. This has really been amazing, and I'm thoroughly proud of you all, honestly, like thoroughly proud. Yeah, that's pretty much it. make sure y'all get the tickets June 22nd so you can see the celebrities do what they do. You know what I'm saying? You can see the movies. And we outside. We outside. You know what I'm saying? But this has been another episode of the HolloTalk podcast. I want to say thank you again to you all. I also want to say thank you to BPA for providing these opportunities for us. And thank you to the HolloTalk podcast listeners and supporters for supporting us through and through. Support my friends. Like, they are talented. They are wonderful. They are blessed. Support my people, man. Peace and love, y'all.
Later, guys.
I want to screenshot everybody. I'm a sucker for a screenshot.
All right, bet. Let's do it.
Wait, because I want to get a screenshot.
Oh, wait.
Could you just send me that screenshot that you take?
Yes. All right, everybody pose. Everybody pose.
Oh, wait. Gosh, wait.
Come on, Derek. Come on. Oh my God. Got it.
All right, bet.